So in this section, we are going to talk about the basics of Git. So I'm just going to start by creating a new folder right here. I'll just call it demo. I'm just doing all the work within the Git projects, and I'm going to log into this demo project. Now, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to initialize this as a Git repository, and I'll just type in here Git and the name of. You can just type in Git init rather to initialize, and you see the output. It says initialize the empty repository right over here. Now, if I just do an ls, and you notice that we see a Git folder right over here. There's kind of an indication because Git stores all the the information in the folder structure itself. So it just has created a .git over here. Now, just to understand what are the different stages available inside, a Git, I'll just make you see something here. So the Git states operation, I mean, we have a working area as of now. The demo project that we created, any files that we create over here, that's kind of a working directory. And from there, we can move into a staging area. We can do a commit that will take us to the repository, and that's the Git folder that we created, right there. So that's kind of a process. I mean, you work with your directory, and you can move to staging area. We can commit the files and move it to the repository, and from repository further, you can do a checkout and see whatever the files are there in a particular commit. Apart from that, there is a remote repository. Now, I think this I'm not going to touch right now because we'll see when we do something like a GitHub, and we'll have a remote repository possibly on GitHub that's most popular, and we might just try on other Bitbuckets and other implementations as well. But as of now, we're just going to focus on the first part, which is moving a working file or directory. Remember, there's no directory movement in Git. You always have to create a file within a directory, and that's only it's going to be considered as a folder. Otherwise, folders are not going to be pushed in empty as such. And then I can just move the file into a staging area, and we'll try and commit the operation. And we'll just see this much as of now. So let's just talk about how do we do this. So I just created a Git file. I'll just open up another one which is using, or maybe just create a new file, call it readme.md, and as of now, if I just do git status, you notice it has an untracked file over here, and that's where it is in our working directory as of now. Now, to move this into the staging area, I can issue a command called Git Add, and I can specify the name of the file maybe. Now, if I just do a Git status again, you'll notice that the file has been moved into the staging area, and we can actually remove it from the staging area, or kind of unstage it back into the working directory. And we can also, issue a commit. Now, as of now, it says there is no commits as of now. There is a new file, but there are no commits. So I can just type in here git commit -m and give a message for the commit. So maybe just the first commit. So I'll just type in here first commit and issue this command. And you notice, so one file has been moved into the repository in a create mode, and this is the name of the file. One file has been inserted. Now, if you just go back to the Git status again, you'll notice there's nothing now to commit on this staging area. I mean, unless I just open up the README file. I'm opening up using a code editor. And so that's how your README file is here, and I can type in something, right? So change this file, and the moment you save this, right, and just do a a git status again. Now you notice what? So there's something available now as a change because you've modified the README file. In the previous case, you had a README file, which is kind of a new file, but now you've modified the README file, and you'll have to do the same thing, isn't it? So it just tells you either you check out and move it back into the working area. Otherwise, just use Git Add to move into the staging area. So I'll just type in here Git Add and type in the name of the file. If you want to use the current directory, you can use dot. And if you do git status again, it moves into the staging area, and then again you can just type in here git commit and -m modified README file for so and so reason. I mean, you can specify a full comment, and I just modified right over here. So if you just do a git status right over here again, there's nothing to commit here, but now that a Git repository has been created and all the files have been moved here. So that's about it. I mean, in the first part, we just kind of looked at how do we, from a working directory, move the files into the staging area and then move it into the repository by using the command. So there are two commands that we discussed specifically. Git add, which can move into the staging area, and git commit, which can move it into the repository. Okay.